Months passed, and Alex's life on the alien homeworld became a blend of wonder and routine. Each day brought new challenges and opportunities to learn. He worked alongside Vela and her team, helping to develop sustainable energy solutions. That combined Earth's mechanical ingenuity with the aliens' advanced technology. The work was rewarding, but it was the moments spent exploring the planet that truly amazed him. The world was vast and diverse, filled with landscapes Alex could never have imagined. There were forests where the trees glowed softly at night, their leaves pulsing with light like fireflies. Oceans teemed with bioluminescent creatures that danced beneath the waves, creating patterns that seemed almost musical. Even the skies were alive, with clouds that shimmered in iridescent colors and storms that painted the horizon with streaks of gold and violet. Alex traveled often, accompanying Lyra, Kayla, and Nissa on missions to distant regions of the planet. Sometimes they visited remote settlements, sharing knowledge and resources with smaller communities. Other times, they explored uncharted territories, mapping new areas and documenting unique ecosystems. Through these journeys, Alex learned more about the aliens' culture, their deep connection to nature, their emphasis on cooperation, and their boundless curiosity about the universe. But as much as he enjoyed the adventures, Alex also cherished the quieter moments. Back in the city, he spent evenings sitting on the balcony of his new home, a small apartment nestled within one of the crystalline towers. From there, he could see the entire skyline, glowing faintly under the twin moons. It was during these quiet times that he reflected on how far he had come. One evening, as Alex gazed out at the stars, Lyra joined him. She carried 2 cups of a steaming drink that smelled faintly of citrus and spice. Handing one to Alex, she sat beside him, her presence comforting and familiar. "You've changed," Lyra said after a moment, her mental voice soft and thoughtful. Alex smiled faintly, sipping the warm liquid. "I guess I have." "This place, it's taught me so much," Lyra nodded. "You've grown stronger, not just in skill, but in spirit. You've embraced challenges that would have overwhelmed others." "I didn't have much of a choice," Alex admitted with a chuckle. "Either adapt or get left behind, right?" "Perhaps," Lyra replied, "but many would have chosen the easier path, returning to Earth, staying within the safety of what they know." Alex looked down at his cup, swirling the liquid gently. "Earth feels like another lifetime now. Don't get me wrong, I miss my family sometimes. But this is where I'm meant to be." Lyra studied him for a moment, her luminous eyes filled with warmth. "You've become part of us, Alex, not just as a crew member, but as a friend." Her words touched something deep inside him. For so long, Alex had felt like an outsider, first on Earth, where he was just a mechanic in a small town, and later among the aliens, who were so different from him. But now, he finally felt like he belonged. It wasn't just about fitting in, it was about being valued for who he was. As the weeks turned into months, Alex's role within the society expanded. His expertise in Earth's simpler technologies proved invaluable, especially when it came to teaching younger generations. The aliens admired his ability to solve problems with limited resources, calling it a form of creativity they rarely saw in their own highly advanced systems. Alex found joy in mentoring others, passing on what he had learned while continuing to grow himself. One day, Alex received an unexpected invitation. Lyra approached him with a smile, holding a small device that emitted a soft hum. "We have a mission," she said, "and we'd like you to lead it." Alex blinked, surprised. "Me? Lead it?" "Yes," Lyra confirmed. "You've earned our trust, Alex. Your skills, your perspective, they make you uniquely qualified." The mission involved traveling to a nearby star system to investigate a mysterious signal detected by one of their deep space probes. It was uncharted territory, full of unknowns, but also brimming with potential discoveries. Alex felt a thrill of excitement mixed with nerves. Leading a mission was a huge responsibility, but he knew he couldn't pass up the opportunity. Preparations took several days. Alex worked closely with Kayla and Nissa, reviewing data, testing equipment, and planning every detail. The ship they would use was sleek and fast, designed for long-distance travel. As they loaded supplies and finalized checks, Alex felt a sense of pride. This wasn't just a repair job, it was a true exploration, and he was at the helm. When the day of departure arrived, Alex stood at the center of the ship's control room, surrounded by Lyra, Kayla, and Nissa. Their expressions were confident, trusting him to guide them. For a moment, Alex felt the weight of expectation pressing down on him. But then he remembered all he had accomplished since leaving Earth to repairs, the challenges, the friendships, and he knew he was ready. The journey through space was breathtaking. They passed through nebulae that glowed like rainbows there, colors shifting and swirling around the ship. Stars streaked past the windows, their light stretching into trails of brilliance. Alex marveled at the beauty of it all, feeling a profound sense of awe at the vastness of the universe. When they reached the source of the signal, they discovered something extraordinary, a derelict alien vessel drifting silently in the void. Its design was unlike anything they had seen before, ancient and intricate, covered in symbols that pulsed faintly with light. Inside, they found relics of a long-lost civilization, including records detailing their history, technology, and even art. "This is incredible," Alex whispered, running his fingers over a glowing panel. "It's like stepping back in time." Lyra nodded, her expression reverent. "This discovery will change everything we know about the galaxy." As they documented their findings and prepared to return home, Alex felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had started this journey as a simple mechanic fixing a broken ship in the desert. Now, he was an explorer, a leader, and a bridge between worlds. When they arrived back on the homeworld, their return was met with celebration. The council praised Alex for his leadership and contributions, officially welcoming him as a permanent member of their society. It was a moment of triumph, one that solidified his place among them in the months that followed. Alex continued to explore, learn, and grow. He formed deeper bonds with Lyra, Kayla, and Nissa, who became not just colleagues but family. Together, they ventured farther into the stars, uncovering mysteries and forging connections with other civilizations. Looking back, Alex realized that his decision to leave Earth had been the right one. He had traded the familiar for the unknown, fear for courage, and isolation for belonging. And though the journey had been challenging, it had also been the greatest reward he could have imagined. For Alex Carter, the stars were no longer a distant dream, they were home. The ship descended gently through the atmosphere of the alien homeworld, its sleek form slicing through clouds that shimmered like liquid silver. Alex pressed his face against the window, his eyes wide as he took in the breathtaking view below. The planet was unlike anything he had ever seen. Vast oceans sparkled with hues of turquoise and gold, while the land masses were covered in sprawling cities made of crystalline structures that glowed faintly in the sunlight. Towering spires stretched toward the sky, their surfaces etched with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and dance as the light hit them. "It's beautiful," Alex whispered, his voice filled with wonder. Lyra stood beside him, her expression calm but proud. "This is where we belong," she said softly. "Our people have built this world over centuries, blending technology with nature." Alex nodded, still unable to tear his gaze away from the scene outside. He noticed that the cities weren't just clusters of buildings. They were alive, pulsating with energy. Rivers of light flowed between the structures, connecting them like veins in a living organism. Even the air seemed different here, tinged with a faint, sweet scent that reminded him of flowers after rain. As the ship touched down on a platform near one of the larger cities, Alex felt a flicker of nervousness. Return. What would the alien society be like? Would they accept him or see him as an outsider who didn't belong? He glanced at Lyra, Kayla, and Nissa, who moved with quiet confidence as they prepared to disembark. Their calm demeanor reassured him, but it didn't completely erase his doubts. When the airlock opened, a rush of cool, fresh air greeted them. The platform was bustling with activity, filled with beings of all shapes and sizes. Some looked similar to Lyra and her companions, with glowing skin and luminous eyes, while others were entirely alien creatures with multiple limbs, translucent bodies, or even forms that seemed to shift and change as they moved. Despite their differences, everyone moved with purpose, exchanging silent nods or gestures as they passed. Lyra led Alex through the crowd, her hand resting lightly on his shoulder. She introduced him to several individuals along the way, projecting their names and roles into his mind. There was Vela, a scientist studying interstellar ecosystems, Torrin, an engineer specializing in energy systems, and Syrah, a diplomat who oversaw relations between different species. Each of them greeted Alex with polite curiosity, though some couldn't hide their surprise at seeing a human among them. Is it common for outsiders to visit? Alex asked Lyra quietly as they walked. No, she admitted. But your arrival has sparked interest. Many are eager to learn about your kind. Alex swallowed hard, feeling the weight of their stares. It was one thing to fix a spaceship in the middle of the desert. It was another to stand in front of an entire civilization as its first human representative. He forced himself to smile and nod politely whenever someone approached, hoping he didn't look as awkward as he felt. Eventually, they arrived at a large, open-air chamber at the heart of the city. The space was filled with floating holograms displaying maps of the stars, streams of data, and images of distant planets. In the center stood a tall figure clad in flowing robes that shimmered like water. Its face was partially obscured by a veil of light, but its presence commanded attention. This is the council leader, Lyra explained. They oversee our society and ensure harmony among our people. Alex hesitated, unsure of what to do. The leader raised a hand in greeting, and a deep, resonant voice echoed in his mind. Welcome, traveler. You are the first of your kind to set foot on our world. Alex cleared his throat, suddenly aware of how dry his mouth felt. Thank you, he managed to say. It's an honor to be here. The leader studied him for a moment before speaking again. Your arrival raises questions. Why have you chosen to join us? Alex glanced at Lyra, who gave him an encouraging nod. Taking a deep breath, he replied, I helped repair the ship that brought me here. Along the way, I realized how much I could learn from your people and maybe how much I could contribute. I want to be part of something bigger than myself. The leader paused, considering his words. After a long moment, they lowered their hand. Your intentions are clear. We will allow you to stay, but under observation. Trust must be earned. Alex nodded quickly. I understand. Thank you. With that, the leader turned and walked away, leaving Alex feeling both relieved and apprehensive. Observation sounded harmless enough, but he knew it meant he'd have to prove himself if he wanted to truly belong. Over the next few days, Alex settled into life on the alien homeworld. Lyra, Kayla, and Nissa helped him adjust, introducing him to their customs and teaching him basic phrases in their language. They showed him how to navigate the city, use public transport, and interact with the various technologies that powered their society. At first, everything felt overwhelming. The glowing streets, the silent communication, the sheer scale of the place, but Alex soon began to adapt. One of the most surprising aspects of the culture was its emphasis on balance. The aliens valued harmony not just among themselves, but also with their environment. Every structure was designed to coexist with nature, using renewable energy sources and integrating plants and waterways into their architecture. Even the smallest actions, like disposing of waste or harvesting resources, were done with care. To minimize impact, Alex found himself drawn to this philosophy. Back on Earth, he had often felt frustrated by humanity's disregard for the planet. Here, he saw a society that thrived because it respected the world around it. It inspired him to think differently about his own role, not just as a mechanic, but as someone who could make a difference. his skills didn't go unnoticed either. Engineers and scientists sought him out, eager to learn about Earth's technology and how it compared to theirs. Alex spent hours explaining concepts like combustion engines, electrical circuits, and manual tools, marveling at how fascinated they were by such simple ideas. In return, they taught him about their advanced systems, showing him how to manipulate energy fields and repair delicate components, using techniques far beyond anything he had ever imagined. Despite the challenges, Alex felt more at home with each passing day. The aliens treated him with kindness and respect, welcoming him into their community. He formed friendships with several individuals, including Vela, who invited him to join her research team exploring sustainable energy solutions. For the first time in his life, Alex felt like he truly belonged somewhere, but not everything was perfect. Some members of the society remained skeptical of him, whispering behind his back or avoiding eye contact when he passed. Alex tried not to let it bother him, reminding himself that trust took time to build. Still, there were moments when he wondered if he'd ever fully fit in. One evening, as the twin suns set over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, Alex sat with Lyra on a balcony overlooking the city. The lights of the towers twinkled below, reflecting off the nearby ocean. "Do you miss Earth?" Lyra asked, breaking the silence. Alex thought for a moment before answering. "Sometimes, but being here, it feels like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." Lyra smiled faintly, her luminous eyes meeting his. "You have adapted well. Our people are beginning to see your value." "I hope so," Alex said with a small laugh. "I still feel like an outsider sometimes." "That will change," Lyra assured him. "You have already earned our trust. The rest will follow." As they sat together, watching the stars appear one by one in the darkening sky, Alex felt a sense of peace wash over him. He had come a long way since the night he stumbled upon a crashed spaceship in the desert. Now he was part of something greater, a journey that promised endless possibilities. And yet, deep down, he knew this was only the beginning. The ship hummed softly as it drifted through the endless expanse of space. Alex sat in a corner of the main chamber, his back against a smooth, glowing wall. He stared at the orb still clutched in his hand, its faint warmth spreading through his fingers. The events at the space station replayed in his mind, the overseer's piercing gaze, the strange creatures bustling about, and the hulking figure that had lunged at them. It all felt like a dream, but the lingering tension in his chest reminded him it was real. Lyra approached him, her movements graceful and deliberate. She crouched down to meet his eyes, her expression calm yet serious. "You handled yourself well," she said, her mental voice soft and reassuring. "But we must talk." Alex nodded, though his stomach tightened. He had been expecting this conversation ever since they left the station. Whatever Lyra wanted to say, it clearly wasn't going to be easy. "We are nearing the end of our journey," Lyra began. "Our homeworld is not far now, but there is something you should know." Alex tilted his head, curiosity replacing some of his nervousness. "What is it?" Lyra hesitated, glancing briefly at Kayla and Nissa, who stood nearby monitoring the Kaylee. "Ship systems." When she spoke again, her tone was measured. "Your presence among us, it is unusual. Humans are rare travelers in the stars. Many would see you as a threat or an asset to exploit." "I kind of figured that part out already," Alex said with a weak smile. "Especially after that guy at the station tried to jump us." Lyra nodded. "That is why we must decide what to do next. Once we reach our homeworld, you will face questions and scrutiny from our people. They may not trust you." Alex swallowed hard. "So, what happens then? Do I get kicked off the ship or something?" "No," Lyra replied firmly. "You have earned your place here, but the choice is yours. You can return to Earth, or you can stay with us." Alex blinked, caught off guard. "Wait, stay with you? On your planet?" "Yes," Lyra said. "Our society values knowledge and exploration. Your skills, your ingenuity, they are valuable. If you wish, you could join us on our missions, learn about other worlds, and share your own experiences. Alex stared at her, his mind racing. Stay with them? Leave Earth behind forever? The idea was both thrilling and terrifying. He thought about his life back home, the garage, the quiet town, the familiar routines. It wasn't perfect, but it was safe. Out here, everything was unknown, dangerous even. But what about my family? He asked quietly. They'll wonder where I went. Lyra's expression softened. We can send a message to them, explain that you are safe. But revealing too much could put them in danger. Humanity is not ready for contact with others. Alex sighed, rubbing his temples. He knew she was right. How could he tell his parents or friends that he'd joined a crew of aliens on a spaceship? They'd think he'd lost his mind or worse. Someone might come looking for him. The agents at the crash site were proof enough that humans weren't prepared for something like this. What if I don't fit in? He asked. I'm just a mechanic from Nevada. What can I offer your people? You underestimate yourself, Lyra said gently. You have already proven your worth. Without you, we would not have reached this point. And beyond that, your perspective as a human is unique. It offers insights we cannot find elsewhere. Kayla stepped forward, her luminous eyes meeting Alex's. Think carefully, she added. This decision is not one to make lightly. Staying with us means leaving behind everything you have ever known. Nyssa nodded in agreement. But it also means embracing new possibilities. Adventures beyond your imagination. Alex leaned back against the wall, staring up at the glowing ceiling. His thoughts swirled like a storm. On one hand, returning to Earth meant safety, familiarity, and the comfort of home. On the other hand, staying with the women offered something he had always secretly yearned for, a chance to explore the unknown, to see things no human had ever seen before. As the hours passed, Alex wandered through the ship, trying to clear. His head, he watched the stars streak past the windows, their light casting shadows on the walls. The hum of the engines was soothing, almost hypnotic. For the first time in his life, he felt truly free, unbound by the limitations of Earth. Yet, the weight of his decision pressed heavily on him. Eventually, he found himself back in the main chamber, where Lyra waited patiently. She didn't speak, simply observed him with those glowing eyes that seemed to see straight into his soul. I've made up my mind, Alex said finally, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside him. I want to stay. Lyra's lips curved into the faintest hint of a smile. Are you certain? Yes, Alex replied. I can't go back to the way things were. Not after all this. I want to see where this journey takes me. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder, her touch warm and reassuring. Then welcome aboard, Alex Carter. You are one of us now. Relief washed over him, followed by a surge of excitement. He didn't know what lay ahead, but he was ready to face it. Together with Lyra, Kayla, and Nyssa, he would venture into the stars, exploring worlds he had only dreamed of. As the ship continued its journey, Alex felt a sense of belonging he had never experienced before. These women who were so different from him had accepted him without hesitation. They saw value in him, even when he doubted himself. And for the first time in his life, Alex felt like he was exactly where he was meant to be. Hours later, the ship began to slow. Through the window, Alex caught his first glimpse of the alien homeworld. It was breathtaking, a vibrant sphere of swirling colors, with vast oceans and sprawling continents covered in shimmering cities. Towering spires reached toward the sky, their surfaces glowing faintly like the ship's walls. It looked like something out of a dream, impossibly beautiful and alive. This is your home? Alex asked, his voice filled with awe. It is, Lyra replied. And soon it will be yours as well. As the ship descended toward the surface, Alex felt a mix of anticipation and nervousness. He didn't know what awaited him down there, but he was determined to embrace whatever came next. After all, he had already come so far. There was no turning back now. QWN 2.5-Max 1012 AM document. Part 4 of Human Technician Fixes Alien Women's Ship Gets an Unexpected Reward. The ship docked smoothly at the space station, its sleek hull aligning perfectly with a glowing port. Alex peered out the window, his eyes wide as he took in the sight of the massive structure. It was like nothing he had ever seen, a labyrinth of metal and light, with towers that twisted into impossible shapes and platforms connected by glowing bridges. Strange ships of all sizes floated nearby, some looking sleek and advanced, others battered and patched together like his old truck back on Earth. "Is this safe?" Alex asked, glancing at Lyra. "It will be," she replied calmly, though her expression remained alert. "But we must stay cautious. Not everyone here is trustworthy." Alex nodded, feeling a knot tighten in his stomach. He trusted the women. They had saved him once already, but the idea of stepping into an unknown place filled with aliens made him nervous. What if someone recognized him as human? Would they see him as a threat? Or worse, as a curiosity to be studied? As the airlock hissed open, Lyra gestured for Alex to follow her. Kayla and Nissa stayed behind to monitor the ship, their glowing eyes watching the surroundings carefully. Alex hesitated for a moment before stepping onto the platform outside. The floor beneath his feet felt solid, but faint vibrations suggested it was alive in some way, humming softly like the ship's systems. The station was bustling with activity. Beings of all shapes and sizes moved about, some humanoid, others completely alien. One creature looked like a floating jellyfish, its translucent body pulsing with light. Another resembled a walking tree, its bark-like skin covered in glowing runes. Despite their differences, everyone seemed focused on their tasks, paying little attention to Alex or the women. Lyra led him through the crowded corridors, her movements confident and purposeful. She stopped occasionally to exchange silent nods or gestures with other beings who responded with similar respect. Alex noticed that many of them carried small devices similar to the orb Kayla had given him earlier. He clutched this tightly, wondering if it marked him as different or protected him from something. They soon arrived at what appeared to be a central hub, a large circular room filled with glowing panels and holographic displays. In the center stood a tall, imposing figure wearing a long cloak that shimmered like liquid silver. Its face was hidden beneath a hood, but Alex could feel its gaze boring into him even from a distance. "This is the Overseer," Lyra whispered, her mental voice barely audible. "We need its approval to refuel." The Overseer raised a hand, and the chatter around them fell silent. A deep, resonant voice echoed in Alex's mind. "You bring an outsider," it said, its tone neutral but tinged with suspicion. "Explain yourself." Lyra stepped forward, her posture calm but firm. "He is not a threat. He assisted us when our ship was damaged. Without his help, we would not have reached this station." The Overseer turned its head slightly, studying Alex with unseen eyes. "Your species is not known for such acts of kindness," it said directly to him. "Why did you help them?" Alex swallowed hard, feeling every pair of eyes or whatever passed for eyes in the room on him. I just wanted to fix what was broken," he stammered. "It's what I do." The Overseer paused, as if considering his answer. After a long moment, it lowered its hand. "Very well. You may refuel. But remember, this station operates on trust. Betray it, and there will be consequences." Lyra bowed slightly in acknowledgement. "Thank you. We will not overstay our welcome." With that, the Overseer turned away, and the hum of activity resumed. Alex let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "That was intense," he muttered under his breath. Lyra placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "You handled yourself well. Come, we must complete our task quickly." They followed a series of glowing markers to a refueling bay, where a team of workers began transferring energy into the ship's reserves. The process was quiet and efficient. With no visible fuel or tanks, just streams of light flowing between conduits. Alex watched in awe, marveling at how effortlessly the technology worked. While they waited, Lyra explained more about the station. "This place serves as a waypoint for travelers," she said. "Some come to trade, others to rest, but not all honest. There are those who prey on the vulnerable, like pirates?" Alex asked. Lyra nodded. "In a way. They seek valuable resources or information. That is why we must remain vigilant." Alex glanced around, suddenly aware of how exposed they were. Most of the beings nearby seemed harmless enough, but a few lingered too long near their ship, their expressions unreadable. He wondered if they were sizing up the vessel or its passengers. When the refueling was complete, Lyra signaled for them to return to the ship. As they walked back through the station, Alex noticed one of the suspicious figures following them. It was a hulking creature with dark, armored skin and sharp, jagged teeth. Its eyes glowed red, and it moved with deliberate slowness, keeping pace just behind them. "Lyra," Alex whispered, nodding toward the creature. "Do you see that?" Lyra didn't turn her head, but her voice came sharply into his mind. "Do not look at it. Keep moving." Alex obeyed, forcing himself to focus on putting one foot in front of the other. His heart raced as the creature drew closer, its heavy footsteps echoing ominously in the corridor. Just as they reached the airlock, it lunged forward with a guttural growl. Before Alex could react, Lyra spun around, raising her hand. A burst of light erupted from her palm, striking the creature squarely in the chest. It staggered backward, snarling in pain, before retreating into the shadows. "What was that?" Alex gasped, his voice trembling. "A warning," Lyra said simply. "Now, inside!" They hurried aboard the ship, sealing the airlock behind them. Kayla and Nissa were waiting, their expressions tense. "Trouble?" Kayla asked. "Nothing. We couldn't handle," Lyra replied, though her tone suggested otherwise. Once they were safely inside, Alex collapsed into a seat, his legs shaking. "What was that thing? And why did it attack us?" "It sensed your presence," Lyra explained. "Humans are rare in these parts. Some might see you as valuable or expendable." Alex frowned, trying to process her words. "So, I'm basically a liability now?" "No," Lyra said firmly. "You are part of our crew. We protect each other." Her words brought a strange sense of comfort, even as fear lingered in the back of his mind. For the first time, Alex realized just how dangerous this journey could be. He wasn't just along for the ride. He was involved, whether he liked it or not. As the ship detached from the station and resumed its course, Alex stared out the window, watching the lights of the station fade into the distance. The vastness of space stretched endlessly ahead, beautiful but daunting. He thought about everything that had happened since the crash in the desert, the strange encounters, the repairs, the escape, and wondered what else lay in store, for better or worse. His life had changed forever, and he couldn't shake the feeling that the hardest part was yet to come. The ship lifted off the ground with a smooth hum, leaving behind the desert and the agents who had tried to stop them. Alex stumbled slightly as the vessel rose into the air, his knees buckling under the sensation of weightlessness. He grabbed onto a nearby console to steady himself, his eyes wide as he watched the ground shrink below them. The cracked earth and jagged rocks of the Nevada desert faded into a blur, replaced by the vast expanse of blue sky. Lyra stood near the central control panel, her hands moving gracefully over glowing surfaces that responded to her touch. Kayla and Nissa were busy monitoring other parts of the ship, their movements calm and efficient. Despite the chaos they had just escaped, the women seemed completely at ease. Alex, on the other hand, felt like his heart was about to burst out of his chest. "Are we flying?" he asked, his voice shaky. "Yes," Lyra replied, her mental voice steady and reassuring. "We are ascending beyond your atmosphere." Alex swallowed hard. Beyond the atmosphere. He had never even been on a plane before, let alone left Earth. The thought made his head spin. He glanced around the interior of the ship, taking in the strange technology. The walls shimmered faintly, and floating holograms displayed streams of data that meant nothing to him. It was beautiful, but also overwhelming. What happens now? He asked, trying to sound braver than he felt. We must test the systems fully, Lyra explained. Your repairs have stabilized the ship, but we need to ensure everything functions correctly before we proceed. Alex nodded, though he wasn't sure what proceed meant in this context. Were they heading back to their home? Planet? Or somewhere else entirely? He wanted to ask, but the questions felt too big for his tired brain to handle. Instead, he focused on staying upright as the ship continued to climb higher. Kaela approached him, holding out a small device that resembled a glowing orb. She placed it in his hand and gestured for him to hold it. This will help you adapt, she said silently. It will protect you from the effects of space travel. Alex stared at the orb, feeling its warmth seep into his palm. Protect me? The environment outside your world is harsh, Kayla explained. Without assistance, your body would struggle to endure it. Oh, Alex muttered, clutching the orb tightly. He didn't fully understand what she meant, but he trusted that she knew what she was doing. After all, they had saved him from those agents back on the ground. If they hadn't pulled him aboard when they did, who knows what might have happened? As the ship broke through Earth's atmosphere, Alex caught his first glimpse of outer space. The sight took his breath away. Stars stretched endlessly in every direction, their light bright and sharp against the deep blackness. The curve of the Earth was visible below, a swirling mass of blues, greens, and whites. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, and for a moment he forgot all about his fear. It's incredible, he whispered, pressing his face closer to the transparent wall of the ship. Nissa smiled faintly, her luminous eyes reflecting the starlight. Your species has always been drawn to the stars, she said. Even without the means to reach them, you dream of exploration. Alex turned to look at her. I guess so. But dreaming is one thing. Actually being here. He trailed off, unable to find the words. Lyra stepped closer, her expression thoughtful. You have shown courage, Alex. Few of your kind would have chosen to join us. I didn't exactly choose, Alex admitted with a nervous laugh. You kind of dragged me aboard. But you stayed, Lyra pointed out. You could have resisted. You could have feared us. Yet you chose to trust us. Alex frowned, considering her words. She was right. He could have panicked or refused to cooperate. But something about the women had put him at ease, even in the face of danger. Maybe it was their calm demeanor or the way they treated him with respect despite their obvious superiority. Whatever it was, he couldn't deny that he felt safer with them than he had with the agents on the ground. For the next few hours, Alex helped the women run diagnostics on the ship's systems. They guided him patiently, explaining each step in simple terms that he could understand, though much of the technology was far beyond anything he had ever encountered. There were enough similarities to Earth's machines that he could contribute meaningfully. Together, they tested the propulsion system, recalibrated the energy conduits, and ensured the navigation array was functioning properly. Despite the complexity of the tasks, Alex found himself enjoying the work. There was something thrilling about solving problems that no one else on Earth could even imagine. Every time he fixed something, the women expressed their gratitude, their glowing eyes lighting up with approval. It made him feel useful in a way he never had before. At one point, while examining a particularly tricky component, Alex accidentally triggered a minor malfunction. A panel sparked, sending a shower of tiny lights across the room. He jumped back, startled, but the women didn't panic. Instead, they laughed softly, a sound that was both musical and oddly human. Relax, Kayla said, her mental voice tinged with amusement. No harm done. Mistakes are part of learning. Alex grinned sheepishly. Yeah, well, I'm used to working on cars, not spaceships. You are adapting well, Lyra added. Your resourcefulness is remarkable. As the hours passed, Alex began to notice subtle changes in how he felt. The fatigue that had weighed him down earlier was gone, replaced by a strange sense of vitality. His thoughts were clearer, his movements more fluid. He glanced at the glowing orb still clutched in his hand and wondered if it was responsible for the change. Eventually, the ship settled into a steady course, drifting smoothly through the void of space. The immediate danger had passed, and the urgency of their repairs gave way to a quieter rhythm. Alex leaned against the wall, watching the stars streak past the windows. It was peaceful, almost serene. So, he said after a while, breaking the silence, "Where are we going?" Lyra exchanged a glance with her companions before answering. "To our homeworld," she said. "But first, we must make a brief stop." "A stop?" Alex asked, curious. "For what?" "To refuel," Nyssa explained. "Our energy reserves are low. We cannot complete the journey without replenishing them." Alex nodded slowly, absorbing the information. "And then?" "Then we return home," Lyra replied. "But there is something we must discuss with you along the way." Her tone was serious, and Alex felt a flicker of unease. What did they want to talk about? Had he done something wrong? Before he could ask, Kayla interrupted, pointing to a distant cluster of lights ahead. "We approached the station," she announced. Alex squinted, trying to make out the details. As they drew closer, he realized the lights belonged to a massive structure. Floating in space, a sprawling network of platforms, towers, and glowing conduits. It looked like a city suspended in the void, its design both alien and majestic. "This is where we'll refuel?" he asked, awestruck. "Yes," Lyra confirmed. "But be cautious. Not all who dwell here are allies." Alex's unease returned. What did she mean by that? Who or what was waiting for them at the station? He opened his mouth to ask more, but the ship began to slow, preparing to dock. The women moved to their stations, their expressions focused and alert. Whatever awaited them, Alex knew one thing for certain. His life had changed forever, and there was no turning back now. The next morning, Alex woke up earlier than usual. His mind was buzzing with thoughts of the previous night's encounter. Had it really happened, or had he imagined the entire thing? He sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the floor, trying to piece everything together. The shimmering ship, the glowing-skinned women, the telepathic voices, it all seemed so surreal. But the dirt under his fingernails and the faint smell of burnt metal on his clothes told him it wasn't a dream. After grabbing a quick breakfast, Alex drove back to the crash site. The desert was quiet, the only sounds being the rustle of dry grass and the occasional chirp of a distant bird. When he reached the ridge, he saw the ship exactly where he'd left it. It still looked otherworldly, its surface catching the early sunlight in dazzling reflections. Lyra, Kayla, and Nyssa were standing nearby, waiting for him. They turned as he approached, their luminous eyes locking onto him. "Good morning," Alex said awkwardly, unsure if they understood human greetings. Lyra tilted her head slightly, a gesture that seemed almost human. "We are grateful you have returned," she replied, her voice echoing softly in his mind. "Your assistance is invaluable." Alex nodded, trying to shake off his nerves. "So, what's the plan? What do you need me to do?" Kayla stepped forward, pointing to the damaged section of the ship. Images flooded Alex's mind again, this time showing detailed schematics of the vessel's internal systems. He could see how energy flowed through the conduits, powering various components. Some parts were highlighted in red, indicating areas that needed repair. It was like reading a manual, but instead of words, it was pure visuals. "This is a lot," Alex admitted, scratching the back of his neck. "I've never worked on anything like this before." Nyssa spoke then, her mental voice gentle and reassuring. "You possess skill and adaptability. That is enough." Her words gave Alex a small boost of confidence. He rolled up his sleeves and got to work. Over the next few hours, he examined the damaged conduits, comparing them to the mental diagrams Kayla had shown him. The alien technology was advanced, but there were similarities to Earth's machines. For instance, the conduits reminded him of wires and the power core functioned somewhat like a car battery. Using tools from his truck, Alex began replacing broken pieces and rerouting energy flows. The women watched him closely, occasionally offering guidance or handing him tools they materialized from thin air. Alex didn't ask how they did it. He figured some things were better left unexplained. Despite the language barrier, they communicated effectively, blending gestures, telepathy, and shared determination. By midday, Alex had made significant progress, though the work was far from overdone. As he took a break to drink some water, Lyra approached him. She carried a small device that emitted a soft hum. Holding it out, she placed it near Alex's chest. A warm sensation spread through his body, easing the fatigue in his muscles. "What's this?" Alex asked, startled, but not uncomfortable. "It will sustain you," Lyra explained. "Your body requires rest and nourishment." "This will help." Alex blinked in surprise. "Thanks. I guess I didn't realize how tired I was." Lyra studied him for a moment, her expression thoughtful. "You are risking much to aid us. Why do you help?" The question caught Alex off guard. He hesitated, searching for the right words. "I don't know," he admitted. "Maybe because it's the right thing to do. Or maybe I just want to see if I can figure this out." Lyra nodded slowly, as if his answer made sense to her. Curiosity drives many species. It is a trait we admire. For the rest of the afternoon, Alex continued working, focusing on repairing a critical section of the ship's propulsion system. The task was complicated, requiring precision and patience. At one point, he accidentally touched a live conduit, causing a spark to jump across his fingers. He yelped and pulled, his hand back, shaking it vigorously. "Are you injured?" Missa asked, concern evident in her mental voice. "I'm fine," Alex muttered, blowing on his fingertips. "Just a little zap." Kayla handed him a strange gel-like substance. "Apply this. It will heal." Alex hesitated, but eventually smeared the gel onto his skin. To his amazement, the stinging sensation vanished almost instantly. "Wow," he said, flexing his hand. "That's impressive." By evening, Alex had repaired most of the major issues. The ship's hum grew steadier, and the pulsing blue light inside became brighter. Though exhausted, Alex felt a sense of accomplishment. He leaned against his truck, watching as the women inspected their vessel. "You have done well," Lyra said, turning to face him. "Your efforts may allow us to leave soon." Alex smiled weakly. "Glad I could help, but what happens now?" Lyra exchanged a glance with her companions before answering. "We must test the systems. If all goes well, we will depart. However," she paused, her gaze lingering on him, "there is something else we wish to discuss." Alex frowned. "Something else?" Before Lyra could elaborate, a sudden noise interrupted them, a low rumble, followed by the sound of engines. Dust kicked up in the distance as two black SUVs sped toward the crash site. Alex's stomach dropped. Who were they? And how had they found out about the ship? The vehicle screeched to a halt, and several men in dark suits climbed out, carrying weapons. One of them stepped forward, holding up a badge. "Federal agents," he announced. "Step away from the craft." Alex's heart raced. He glanced at the women, who remained calm but alert. Their eyes glowed brighter, and Alex sensed a shift in their demeanor. They were prepared for trouble. "Who are these people?" Alex whispered to Lyra. "They are a threat," Lyra replied simply. "Do not fear. We will handle this." The lead agent pointed at Alex. Are you responsible for tampering with this object?" I was just helping," Alex stammered, raising his hands defensively. "They needed repairs." The agent ignored him, turning his attention to the women. "Identify yourselves. You are trespassing on restricted airspace." Lyra stepped forward, her voice calm but firm as she projected her words into everyone's minds. "We mean no harm." Our ship malfunctioned, and we sought assistance. We will depart shortly. The agent scowled. That's not your decision. Stand down, or we will take action. Tension filled the air. Alex felt trapped between the aliens and the agents, unsure of what to do. Just as the situation seemed about to escalate, the ship's lights flared brightly, bathing the area in an intense glow. The agents shielded their eyes, momentarily blinded. In that brief moment, Lyra grabbed Alex's arm, pulling him toward the ship. Come, she urged. It is not safe here. Alex hesitated for only a second before following her. As they boarded the vessel, the doors sealed shut behind them, cutting off the shouts of the agents outside. Inside, the interior was even more breathtaking than Alex had imagined, smooth walls lined with glowing panels, floating holograms displaying data, and a central console humming with energy. What's happening? Alex asked, his voice trembling. We must leave, Lyra said. But first, we must ensure the ship is fully operational. Alex swallowed hard. He hadn't signed up for this. Yet, as the ship's engines roared to life, he realized there was no turning back. Whatever happened. Next, he was in it for the long haul. Alex Carter wiped the sweat from his forehead as he tightened the last bolt on a battered old truck. The sun was setting over the small town of Silver Ridge, casting long shadows across the cracked asphalt of his garage's parking lot. It had been a long day, and Alex was ready to call it quits. He grabbed his toolbox and began walking toward the office to lock up for the night. The air smelled of oil and dust, mixed with the faint aroma of desert sage carried by the evening breeze. As he reached for the door handle, a sudden flash of light lit up the horizon. Alex froze, squinting at the sky. At first, he thought it might be a plane or a satellite burning up in the atmosphere, but this was different. The light streaked downward like a falling star, growing brighter and larger as it approached. A loud rumble followed, shaking the ground beneath his feet. Alex dropped his toolbox, the metallic clang echoing in the quiet evening. What in the world? He muttered under his breath. The light disappeared behind a ridge a few miles away, leaving behind a trail of smoke that curled lazily into the darkening sky. Alex hesitated for a moment, torn between curiosity and caution. Strange things didn't happen often in Silver Ridge. Heck, nothing exciting ever happened here, but something about that light felt unnatural. After a brief internal debate, he decided to check it out. Grabbing a flashlight from the office and climbing into his beat-up pickup truck, he drove off in the direction of the crash site. The road leading out of town quickly turned into a dirt path winding through the barren desert landscape. The moon hung low in the sky, its pale glow illuminating patches of sand and scattered rocks. Alex kept his eyes peeled for any sign of what had fallen. When he finally reached the base of the ridge, he parked his truck and stepped out. The crunch of gravel beneath his boots breaking the eerie silence. He climbed the ridge slowly, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. At the top, he froze. Below him, partially buried in the sand, was a ship unlike anything he'd ever seen. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, reflecting the moonlight in strange patterns. The design was sleek and otherworldly, with no visible scenes or panels. It looked like it belonged in a science fiction movie, not the middle of the Nevada desert. Before Alex could process what he was seeing, movement caught his eye. 3 figures emerged from the wreckage. They were tall and slender, their skin glowing faintly with an iridescent sheen. Their features were striking large, almond-shaped eyes that seemed to glow softly, high cheekbones, and delicate lips. They wore flowing garments that shimmered like their ship, shifting colors subtly in the dim light. Despite their alien appearance, there was something almost human about them. Alex instinctively took a step back, his heart pounding. Were they hostile? Should he run? But before he could decide, one of the figures raised a hand in what appeared to be a gesture of peace. A voice echoed in his mind, not spoken aloud, but somehow clear and distinct. "We mean no harm." Voice said, "Our ship is damaged. We require assistance." Alex blinked, startled. You're talking in my head. The figure nodded slightly. Her expression remained calm, though her luminous eyes betrayed a hint of exhaustion. She pointed to herself and spoke again, the words forming directly in his thoughts. I am Lyra. These are my companions, Kayla and Nissa. Our vessel has malfunctioned, and we cannot repair it alone. Alex stared at them, his mind racing. Aliens. Real aliens. And they wanted his help? It sounded insane, but the evidence was right in front of him. He glanced at the ship, then back at the women. Something about their demeanor put him at ease. They didn't seem threatening, just tired and desperate. Why me? He asked aloud, his voice trembling slightly. Another voice joined the first, softer and more melodic. We detected your presence nearby. Your species excels at repairing machines. Perhaps you can assist us. Alex swallowed hard. He wasn't exactly NASA material, but he did know his way around engines and electronics. Still, fixing a spaceship? That was a whole different ballgame. Yet, as he looked at the trio, he felt a pang of sympathy. They were stranded, just like anyone else might be in a broken-down car. Maybe he could at least try. Okay, he said slowly. I'll take a look, but I'm not making any promises. Lyra inclined her head slightly, a gesture that reminded Alex of a bow. Thank you. Your kindness will not be forgotten. With that, the three women stepped aside, allowing Alex to approach the ship. As he drew closer, he noticed the damage. A jagged tear ran along one side of the hull, exposing intricate wiring and glowing conduits. The interior hummed faintly, emitting a soft blue light that pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Alex knelt down, examining the exposed components. Some of it looked familiar, resembling circuit boards and energy cells, while other parts were completely alien, made of materials he couldn't identify. This is going to be tricky, he murmured to himself. Kayla crouched beside him, her movements graceful and deliberate. She extended a hand, pointing to specific areas of the exposed machinery. Images flashed in Alex's mind diagrams, instructions, warnings. It was overwhelming, but he focused, piecing together what he could. Slowly, a plan began to form in his head. For the next hour, Alex worked alongside the women, asking questions and receiving answers through telepathic communication. They were patient, guiding him when he faltered and offering encouragement when he succeeded. By the time the first stars appeared in the night sky, Alex had managed to stabilize the ship's power core, preventing further damage. It wasn't a complete fix, but it was a start dot. As he stood up, brushing sand off his jeans, Lyra approached him. Her gaze was steady, filled with gratitude. You have done well, she said silently. We are in your debt. Alex shrugged, trying to play it cool despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. Don't mention it. Just doing my job. But deep down, he knew this was anything but ordinary. Little did he realize, his decision to help these strangers would change his life forever.